There is so much great history to know and learn about in regards to Pismo Beach. But today we're going to talk about the history of the Pismo Beach Hotel and Harry's Nightclub and Beach Bar. With so many great and new things popping up in Pismo Beach, we certainly don't want to forget the history. Effie McDermott considers it a privilege to document the history of Pismo Beach. She draws on her personal collection of historical images of her 20 years of research to present Pismo as you may not have seen it before. Harry's Cocktail Lounge has been established in Pismo Beach for 32 years. Currently, Harry's is the only downtown Pismo Beach bar and has survived the renaissance of Pismo Beach as a bar town to the beach town, tourist attraction, and local commercial shopping area it is today. You can't really talk about the hotel without talking about that elevator.
Well, yes, the elevator here at the hotel is, more or less the original elevator.
Right.
We've certainly been allowed to maintain it.
Right.
There's a whole authority and a whole section of the law with what you can and can't do with elevators, and what you can do is not much. And so basically the elevator functions the same today as it did when it was brand new.
We're going to go for a ride in the elevator.
Lucky us. If we don't show up at the floor where we're going, please send help.
Yeah.
No, the elevator, it's amazing, and I've been in the elevator room numerous times up on top where the big motor is, the big cable that holds it up.
It's all in place.
Everything's in place. It did get an update a few decades ago with a computer brain that it doesn't allow you to open the doors if it's not on the actual floor where it belongs, so there's no falling down the elevator shaft or anything like that. And so it does have some modern enhancements from, I think, probably about 30 or 40 years ago.
Got it. And you've done some enhancements on the hotel overall, but you're keeping the history of what it truly is for the most part.
We really do, yeah. We really, we really appreciate it. Well, we're kind of an old historical family, the ownership group is, and so we appreciate history. And this hotel has got a tremendous history here in Pismo Beach. When we kind of opened up the patio area a few years ago and renovated that, we saved the bricks. And created a nice little planter and a nice little bench to sit on out of those existing bricks. So,
awesome. Things like that just kind of, like I said, keep the history here so people know how it truly started. So we appreciate that.
Thank you very much. And we appreciate your support too. Come on down to 230 Pomeroy and we'll make you a deal. So you've got some nice pictures here, Effie. This looks like a really old building. Is this in Pismo Beach?
This is your fabulous Pismo Beach Hotel, which has a long and storied history, and it's part of the great story of the city of Pismo Beach because it was built during our brick era, and when the highways were being developed and the automobile now had come to town, and the motorcycle groups were coming and posing on the beach in their long panoramic photographs. So we have you opening in April of 1925.
I had no idea that it was that old.
Yeah, and the people in this picture, one of these gentlemen in this picture is Santiago. You'll have to read my book and get the exact wording for all of this, but his name was Santiago. You have Mr. Al Nevins in this picture, and I'm sure you have Mr. Butler in this picture. This hotel was named after a man named Butler. So you'll notice in this photograph that it says steam heat. You had steam heat.
I did see that. That was one of the facets of the hotel that must have been new technology.
Well, it was so important to promote. They put it on the sign on the building, which had steam heat.
Yeah.
So anyway, notice that you have a 3-story building here, and it's only part of your current hotel. In 1937, a man named Benjamin from Arroyo Grande bought the hotel and the property next door, and he added a 4-story hotel. He enlarged the hotel, and the new part was 4 stories. And that's the part we're sitting in right now. We're sitting in the newer part.
We're in the new part of the hotel.
The new part. And again, it was brick, but this was a different style of brick because it's a little bit later than the original brick era.
And I noticed that from this picture, it's very obvious that the hotel sign that the hotel's so well known for is not where it is now. It's on top of the older part of the building.
That's right. It said Hotel Butler on the side, and now it says Hotel Butler on the roof with your tall, gorgeous landmark sign that now says Pismo, which is in red, and you can see it for miles every night. I love your sign.
Thank you.
Anyway, so, and you'll notice that the original hotel had square-cornered windows and doors on the front, and that was changed in the 70s to the current arches.
Oh, yeah, that's right. So this shows that the arches are not original, but those came later.
Right, and you've got an old-style fire escape on the front of the building here.
Yeah.
So in 1937, this was brand new. So when Hollywood came to town in 1940 to film Strange Cargo with Clark Gable and Joan Crawford, they stayed in your hotel. And Joan Crawford had the front room on the 3rd floor on the east side, and back in the back on the same floor was Clark Gable's room. Okay. And they, by the way, weren't boyfriend and girlfriend. That was just in Hollywood. So here you have a picture of him signing in at the front desk of your hotel. And then this is a picture of Joan Crawford signing autographs. It was quite an event when they were in town filming. And then this is a picture taken down on the beach. If you see Strange Cargo, and it's still available on DVD.
I purchased it as a set of Clark Gable or Joan Crawford movies. I have it on DVD, and I've actually watched it all the way through. It's a black and white movie, and it's quite good. Well,
I've tried to figure out where they were on the beach, and the best I can figure out is that they were on the beach down in front of Pismo Costa Village or the State Park, the campground right there.
Okay.
I think that's about where they were. And because in this picture you can see in the upper right, you can barely make out Pismo Heights, and in the right on the left edge, behind the vehicle, you can barely make out the pier in the distance there. So they were down at the beach just a little bit to the south, and this is the MGM Woody one day when they were taking a break from work. That brings your hotel into the modern tourism era of Pismo Beach. You were here, by the way, during Prohibition. This must have been quite the place during Prohibition.
The hotel has had several names over the years. So we started out as the Hotel Butler.
Hotel Butler. Somewhere in there, it became the Trade Winds Hotel. Then it was renamed El Pismo Inn.
El Pismo Inn, and that was on the old sign that we took down and rehabbed, we could tell, just barely through all the rust, but with what was left of that sign, we could tell that it said the El Pismo Inn.
Yes, now it took that name from the old El Pismo Inn that was down the street toward the beach on the right.
Which was an even older hotel.
Older hotel, completely not related, no common ownership, just took the name because no one was using the name at the time, and it's a great name, El Pismo Inn. So not to be confused, though, with the historic El Pismo Inn, which dates back to the turn of the century.
Right.
And then now you are the Pismo Beach Hotel. Good choice.
Thank you. And so this picture that we're looking at here, this was clearly, this was not in the 20s or 30s, but a little bit later. And I believe you mentioned that they used to do kind of soapbox derby races down this steeply sloped Pomeroy Avenue.
This was in the early 1950s. When they had soapbox derbies in a number of towns. It was a very common event. Kids did it all over the country. And yes, they would start at the top of Pomeroy up at Price Street and race all the way down to the beach, basically.
I wonder how fast they were going when they got to the bottom.
Yeah, they got to be going pretty fast, yeah. But anyway, so your hotel is in this photograph, and you'll notice that Harry's next door has also been built by the time this picture is taken.
It almost looks like Harry's is under construction in this photograph.
It does, yeah. So this is 52 as far as I know.
And we know from doing recent construction at Harry's that it is made of cinder block, modern cinder block construction, and that appears to show up in your picture right here.
Yes, there was a wooden building on that corner before that had a gable roof, and it was a grocery store.
It was a grocery store.
It dated way back to
Do you know the name of that old grocery store?
I do, but I can't think of it right now.
But anyway, so Harry's, what is Harry's today is not in the same building that was that old grocery store, but it is the same location.
Yeah, yes. They would not have attempted to save any part of the old wooden building when they're building a new cinder block building.
But it appears to me that the building that's immediately across the street, what used to be known as Shelley's and now is Cool Cats, and it has these arches. Is that the same building today that stood there all those years ago?
Yes, this old gorgeous building, which is now now Cool Cats. Yes, okay. It used to be Shelley's, and before it was Shelley's, it was the Waldorf.
The Waldorf.
It was the Waldorf for years, and that's when it gained its fame as a bar. And it was also
and it had some pool tables in it.
Pool tables.
And I believe there's a photograph in your book with some famous people in it.
That would be Al Capone. Al Capone slipped away from Los Angeles. Nobody really knew that he was coming, we think. We think he slipped away to Pismo Beach just for an outing.
In true gangster fashion.
In true gangster fashion, he was on the lam from Chicago. And I think he was asked to return to Chicago immediately. So, but he got his little visit to Pismo Beach.
I wonder who was brave enough to ask Al Capone to return.
Could have been Bugs Bunny. So there you have the slot car races, and that was a great event in the city. And they had major sponsors. They had like Chevrolet sponsoring it. And I don't know if you can make it out in this picture or not, but we had the Rose Garden Ballroom, not showing here, but that was a famous dance music and sports venue. It would have been right over here on this side of the street.
Okay, all right.
So yeah, we had a lot of we have a lot of history in this city.
Yeah, Pismo is just steeped with history. As you mentioned earlier, we've got some really nice panoramic wide-angle photos of the motorcycle rallies from the 20s and 30s that are hanging in Harry's now, and that's kind of fun to think back to all that rich history that.
Yes, and they go all the way back to the old El Pismo Inn. One of the panoramic photos was actually a 360 degree.
Wow.
And then printed them out like 6 or 7 feet long. And there's one there that has the old El Pismo Inn in the background and so forth. And a number of years back, the Pasadena Motorcycle Club came back to town and decided that they would reenact their 1927, I think it was, panoramic photo on the beach, and they let me in the picture. I'm in the reenactment photograph, and
Nice.
I'm a member of the Pasadena Motorcycle Club.
Awesome. That's great.
Maybe honorary.
Effie, I would just like to say thank you for coming and sharing some of your great photographs, of which I know there are countless, many more in your book. I want to thank you for sharing what you know about Pismo Beach, and thank you for taking the time and making this available to all of us whippersnappers and Johnny-come-latelys that you know weren't here to see and all this or preserve it, but you came before us and saved it for us. So
Well, I want to thank you for picking up the torch and carrying the history forward and taking good care of these old buildings and this history, because without you, it would all disappear. So thank you.
You bet. What is the name of your book, and where can it be found?
You can get it on Amazon.com, or you can buy it locally at Miners or the Esquire News. It's called Images of America, Pismo Beach. There's an Images of America book on every little town and burg practically in the United States, and I wrote the one on Pismo Beach. So it's Images of America, Pismo Beach by Arcadia Publishing.
Images of America, Pismo Beach by Arcadia Publishing.
Right.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay. That's right. That's right. But here we are at this historical landmark known as Harry's.
Harry's Nightclub and Beach Bar. And I mean, I can't imagine that people that live in this area, and you know, whatever the rumors are, whatever people are saying about it, you just need to come in here and check it out.
You just got to come down
You
here
have to
and see it for yourself.
experience it for yourself.
Yeah.
I mean, you will really appreciate it. If you can come when there's music playing live, which they're very known for, that's even better. But
If you come down here after 7:30 at night, the chances are you're going to hear some live
you're
music.
going to hear some live music,
Yep.
which is what it's all about around here. But
Or some great karaoke on Thursdays.
Oh, Thursday nights.
Yep.
You might even see myself and Tim here, and Mike. But more importantly, so the history here of Harry's, and we talked a little bit about the Pismo Beach Hotel.
Yep.
And you can't talk about the hotel or even any part of Pismo Beach without talking about one of the landmarks, which I believe is Harry's, and what it's established. And even though the hotel was built back in 25,
The original part of the hotel sounds like it was built around 25, and then the bigger part of it came later in 37.
and then Harry's came even later.
Harry's showed up on the scene in 53.
Opened their doors,
They
right?
opened their doors in 53, and they've been here ever since.
That's crazy.
Yep.
So nuts. Imagine the amount of, if these walls could talk, the stories they would tell.
That's right.
I might even be in one of them.
Right?
So, but yeah, but talking a little bit about, so there was an original Harry, which is kind of what we were talking about a little bit about.
There was an original Harry, and from what I've heard, he only owned the bar for about a year.
Right.
And then well, I don't know if this part is true or accurate or whatever, but I think that his soon-to-be ex-wife ended up with it.
With the bar.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And then there have been owners after that.
That's where the drama started
course.
with Harry's.
The drama started there. See, it wasn't Mike's fault.
It was like this when I got here, I promise. No, but this place has the Baileys are really the ones that made this place
Right.
famous. They owned Harry's and really put it on the map. They owned it for 35 years. I'm pretty sure that they're the ones that instituted live music 7 nights a week. And of course, as Paul Bailey was fond of telling everyone that would listen, that football coach, the old football coach for the Raiders, met his wife
Oh.
here in the bar at
I didn't know
Harry's.
that. That's kind of a fun fact.
Madden. Yeah, the one that the video game is named after. John Madden
Oh,
met his
cool.
wife here in the bar at Harry's.
That's awesome.
Back in the late 60s, I believe it was.
Wow. Well, I'm sure a lot of people have met here at Harry's and started relationships.
I think
Or
sometimes
got married.
I think sometimes they start them and end them right here at Harry's.
If you're one of them, let us know.
You're part of the history.
Yeah, if you're part of the history.
But Harry's is a really fun place, as the Bailey daughters told me when we bought this place. Harry's is all about having fun, and whether your fun is enjoying live music or dancing on the dance floor or people watching or singing karaoke or just washing the dust down after
or
a
eating
hard
that yummy
day's work.
popcorn.
Oh, yes.
We're addicted to the popcorn
Yes,
now.
yes,
It's all
I'm
your
addicted
fault.
to the popcorn,
It's so
too.
good. I don't know what did you guys do to it, but it's so good. It's addicting.
It's a secret recipe. It's
Of course it's a secret recipe.
Like the Colonel's secret recipe.
And it's probably the same since it was way back when.
Probably. Might be working out of the same salt shaker.
Hey, whatever works. Still tastes good.
Yeah.
And then,
but,
so you mentioned the bar and the shape of the bar.
yeah, so we had these local architects come down and make as-built plans. They came down and measured everything. They measured this bar. They counted the tables. They figured out where everything was.
Right.
And they drew a map of it on a CAD program. And when they presented me with this wonderful, as-built blueprint of this place, I said, "Oh my gosh! I wonder if anybody knows that bar is totally in the shape of a grand piano."
That's crazy.
I think that somebody must have on purpose.
Purposely.
It is absolutely in the shape of a
Very
grand piano.
cool. So it was important to keep all of that in place.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the shape of this place. One of the things that's maybe different about Harry's than a lot of places that you would visit. People don't just come in and sit down at the same table all night. They mill around. They rotate around the place.
You have to.
You wander because
make your rounds.
You can't see you might have
on that side.
You might have friends over there in the pool table room. We've got 3 pool tables that stay pretty busy, and so you might have friends over there, or you might make some new friends over there. And so,
absolutely,
this place it circulates a lot.
Definitely. I've circulated a lot through here. Always fun though.
Any direction you want.
Always
you can go clockwise, you can go counterclockwise. It's all good.
Go on the dance floor for a little while.
It's
you can go
all
up
good.
to the top.
When we're busy, like on a Friday, on a typical Friday or Saturday night, we've got 3 bartenders, 1 or 2 bar backs back there.
Yeah.
Security.
It can get slammed in here.
Yeah.
And the security, they do a great job here, of making sure everybody's safe, keeping an eye on people. I mean, I've been in here. I see it happening.
We've got seasoned veterans that handle our security, but this is such a great melting pot.
It is. It really is.
From
People all walks of life.
Yeah, we've got 20-somethings that are barely old enough to be in here. They are old enough though. No getting in early.
Yep, better be.
Wait till you're 21. We've got older retired couples. We've got working couples.
Everything in between.
Everything in between.
Professionals
We've
on
got
occasion.
we've got visitors from foreign countries.
Right.
During what we would consider the slow season, we get a lot of visitors from foreign countries.
I've met a ton of people. I mean, you just meet so many different people, and that's the cool thing about it. It's just a social, fun thing to do.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And what a great outlet for the local musicians to be able to display their talents and have it appreciated.
Good point. And we love live music.
We love live music.
Live music.
Yep.
So to all the musicians out there, those that are especially playing here at Harry's, great job. And you always keep a good rotation coming through.
We do.
It's a good variety of music. And there's some bands that just draw a huge amount of people. I mean, I got people coming from certain areas just to see certain bands here. If you like to dance, you need to come check out Harry's, downtown Pismo Beach. Now, let's talk about, because I know there's some art that we have within Harry's that also goes back to some of the history.
That's right. We've got a couple of historical pieces on the wall. I'm sure we'll get shots of it here shortly. And we've actually had some pretty famous people ride through here on motorcycles from time to time. Pink and her husband,
Awesome.
Hart.
Right.
Yeah, they've been here in here a time or two, but they were doing motorcycle rallies down here on the beach back in the 20s and 30s, and we've got on the wall some great panoramic photographs
Nice.
that just shows hundreds of these guys and gals, you know, gathering, enjoying what they do with their motorcycles, and,
great.
we continue in that tradition and embracing that here at Harry's. And when we took over, we kind of adopted a new logo and some new colors, and
The logo is amazing.
and we specifically colored our logo orange and black because, as all the motorcycling public knows, those are the colors for Harley Davidson, and
Very cool.
and that was our way of saying, you know,
See, Mike's supporting it.
thank you. We still love you guys. We've always got a place for you right here at Harry's.
Nice, love it, and I'm sure they appreciate it. And that has been a foundation that's been built and established from long ago, that you guys have supported that and been a big part of it. And so hopefully they recognize it and will continue supporting Harry's in exchange.
Come to Harry's. You'll see some of the prettiest bikes you've ever seen, some amazing paint jobs, some folks that take a lot of pride. In their motorcycles down here.
Definitely.
So Harry's is all about motorcycles, rock and roll, and having fun.
Who doesn't want that, right? I don't ride a motorcycle, but I can appreciate them. All right, well, we hope you guys enjoyed, and hopefully we'll see you out here soon.
Come on down to Harry's.
I'm ready for a Bailey's and coffee. Bye.
That we can handle. Set 'em up. Pismo Beach, that's news.
My hair's like flying everywhere.
It is often windy at the Pismo Beach Hotel, but that's how we like it. Are you on?
It's the smart
All right.
one. It's the smart one.
All right. Well,
What floor are we going to?
we'll see you on the second wall. That's where we have our ADA compliant handicap accessible rooms over there.
Got it.
It's nice because they're on the
Is
ground
that why
floor.
Mo and I stay there? That's why Mike puts Mo and Val there, because they're handicap accessible.
Well, you guys, you girls are kind of a Cinderella story, and so if the shoe fits,